All right, my first YouTube video in a while, probably several years. Um, I got into a bit of a discussion, or over on Bubby FPV's video, where he posted a video of a Cinelifter for that he bought for $3,000, asking if it was worth it. And my comments were, and it was a great flight. He's an amazing pilot. I'm a big fan of his. Watched his stuff for years. He's just an amazing pilot. But in one maneuver, he did a split S, or some sort of maneuver where he was falling, or falling into his own into his own what do you call it? Sorry, falling into his own you know uh, wind, I guess, or his own thrust with his props. So they were cavitating, and the quad was shaking. So he challenged me to upload a video about a Cinelifter that I've tuned that doesn't do that. And I don't have a Cinelifter. I don't have an X8 Cinelifter. I've never tuned an X8, but so this one is a 10-inch with Mad motors. What are they? They're Mad Shadows. They're like $50 motors, $200 ESC. Mad Tech, I guess it's called, or not Mad Tech. I'm thinking of the YouTuber. Anyway, Mad Motors. So they're very big motors. Well, they're large motors. So I think it should be pretty similar. He's using 3-bladed props, though. These are 2-bladed. So he challenged me to show a video where a quad doesn't do that, and I don't have an exact video. I don't think I did have the exact maneuver in here, but this is my tuning process for pretty much everything. I tune by feel. I'll sometimes break it out in black box, but I'm not too confident in black box. And I don't think black box really gets, well, it does get everything if you know how to use it, and if you're very confident in that. I'm a big student of UAV tech. So he has a very great video series, or several videos. I think I've watched every video he's ever put out on tuning, and studied it. Not just watched it, but watched it many times. One of his best videos is a 7-inch one. Really shows what, like, all the functions of not just the PIDs are, but the big ones are TPA, curve. He always works on the TPA now, and I-term, relax, and AG gain. Those are the big three that really like he talks about, that really seem to affect the prop wash, how it performs in prop wash. That's how it, that's when it, like, goes through its own thrust, like I was trying to say earlier. So you can see here, I actually lower the AG gain. What he says is, for AG gain, you want to up the AG gain until it shudders when you drop the throttle out, when it starts to descend into its own thrust, where it's into its own disturbed air. So but anyway, my process is, so anyway, this is the Antelope Valley Tailwinds. We have a huge FRIA out here, so I don't have to register my stuff. I don't have to have a RAD on it. It's under CBO rules, So this is just a tuning flight I had from DJI V2 goggles. I don't have a camera for this 10-inch that I built yet. This is a $20 frame from AliExpress I was testing, and it seemed pretty decent. So I went through all of the frames from the seller, and they were selling to addresses in Ukraine and Russia. So these guys are selling to both sides of the war for 10 inches. And you can see, like, there's this called there's a builder called the Wild Hornets, and they you can see they're using these frames, or they were using these frames, are very similar. I think the Wild Hornets are, they're like, they have their own stack, and they're trying to build out their own supplies, but obviously they're still using some frames and stuff, but in the war. So anyway, this is, you can see, so one of the big things UAV tech is, you want to start with the I term. A quad will fly just with the I term, but it'll fly, funky, but it'll fly. So you want to put your I term first, and then you want to go to your P term and raise your P term. And with I and P, it should fly pretty well, except it'll have like bounce backs maybe. And then you finally want to bring your D term up. You want to keep your D term as low as possible, because that's obviously the thing that causes motor heating, and so you want to keep that super low. Want to watch your motor temp. So I think one of these early flights, I was checking the motors, seeing where it is. The big motors, also in your ESC, are very important. Your ESC ramp up power and different settings in your ESC are going to affect how your motor performs a lot more than anything the PIDs ever do, in my opinion. So you got to get before I really studied the ESC settings and was switched to these bigger motors from 5-inch. I was having all kinds of desyncs because my ramp up power was apparently too high. So I just tuned a 3D quad from Zoe's settings, and I was surprised she's using 90% ramp up power to get the 3D to not desync when it switches from back to forward. So that was a big surprise to me, and I tested it out, and it's really good at 90 on her 5-inch motors. And I think also on, well, pretty much any motors, like 90 for a 3D quad. So when it has that reverse, it doesn't desync. But anyway, I think that would kill these larger motors, because they seem to want lower. I'm still not lower ramp up. That's on BL Heli 32, of course. So I don't know. I'm still kind of confused about ESC settings, but I follow what I find on YouTube, and for these, they're saying lower the ramp up. That's Chris Rosser. He has all those. He has great videos on the ESC settings. So really, I'm a student of UAV tech first, and then Chris Rosser, and then Bardwell has some good stuff too, of course. But Bardwell, I don't think, has even that much experience tuning like a variety of stuff like 3D and larger quads. I think he mostly is sticking to, knows stuff from 5-inch for what works, and he doesn't really go into any of the really strange stuff. So anyway, I think you could start to see it's getting there with the tune here. I did not finish the tune on this quad. You can see it's better now with the descent. Usually you can see, you can see it. There's still a little bit of shake when I give it more thrust. One of the big settings is TPA. It seemed like this one. I think this was about 90% tuned when I was happy with it, but you can see it's extremely agile now for a 10-inch. I was surprised at its agility. It's following my rates, which are pretty aggressive for it. They're 5-inch rates. I was just using those, so it'll spin. Exact. There you can see a little bit of a wobble there, but my whole philosophy is, quads shouldn't have any sort of oscillation at all. That's what the flight controller's there to do, is get rid of those. So you want to just keep working on it and tuning it till you get those out, because that will mess up your shot, obviously. So, and you really don't want to use any well, it's going to end here, so okay.